Okay, here we go. All right. Whitney's touching the computer. This could be bad.
Here we go.
Right, here we go. Back.
Back in black.
It's Amy.
It's Whitney.
We're here with On the Haunt, where the prayer closet just keeps getting creepier and creepier.
Chris has so many candles lit, everyone. And there's also a creepy mask we're going to post on social media he put up for us.
Yes. I forget what he called it already, but it's something that...
Decker, something Decker.
Okay.
I don't know. Dr. Mr. something Decker. It's creepy.
Senior Decker. He is just here with us.
It's not
super
okay.
Creepy. All right, guys, we're here for episode 2.
Woo-woo!
Can't believe we made it this far. Look at us. This is the longest I've ever, I think, held on to any type of hobby I've ever had.
And we're officially on Apple Podcasts, Amy.
I know.
It took 100 years, but we made it.
We're going places, everybody. So come along with us for the ride.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, before we start episode 2, we want to, which is going to be absolutely a regular thing because we make 10 million mistakes and say 1,000 things wrong when we're doing these podcasts. So we've got something we've decided to title Haunted Housekeeping, where we come back the next week prior to starting our episode and fix all the crap that we screwed up the week before. So last week wasn't too bad, but I did notice I got so hung up when I was talking about Ed and Lorraine about the Warrens.net website. I forgot to cite my sources from...
But it is magical.
It is. From all my other... information that I had in my story. So shout out to paranormalscholar.com, thelineup.com, and historyversushollywood.com. Those are my sources that I forgot to cite during my prom family haunting last week.
I need to hit up paranormalscholar.com.
I mean, I feel like we could earn a PhD.
I know. Dr. Whitney in the paranormal. Can you imagine? Okay.
You're just carrying around a bunch of latex gloves for no reason whatsoever.
Why does she have all these gloves? And I also wanted to give a shout out. My friend Amber tagged me in something on Facebook that really was timely. Yes. So she tagged me in an article from Fox News about the Perron family. We don't know how to say their name. I don't. And so it was this article, though, about a couple that had bought the house. They're actually like paranormal enthusiasts, us too.
Yeah.
So they bought the house in hopes to like renovate it and, make it like a tourist attraction. And they're being haunted. The guy's like, I have a hard time staying there by myself. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Footsteps, knocks. They've heard lights flashing. My only question is, where's Bathsheba?
Yeah, where's Bathsheba?
Is she hitting on Corey?
Probably. That seems like her MO.
I know. We really need to reach out to them. So if anyone knows the people that live in this house.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice mix. Keaton keeps asking what we're doing on vacation next summer. I'm like, hey, Keaton.
We're going to Rhode Island.
The Conjuring House. Put it on our bucket list.
So thank you, Amber, for tagging me in that. And if anyone else has any great stuff, tag us. We'd love to see it. So,
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. So thanks. And thanks for all the positive feedback we've gotten from you guys up to this point, too. It's really cool reading your reviews that you leave for us. It makes us all tingly.
Thanks, M. Whitty and Taco John.
Yeah, shout out. Appreciate it. Thanks for the love.
All right.
Okay, so this week we decided our theme would be urban legends.
That was great. Great harmonizing.
It was. We are also a duo group. I don't know. What would our duo hip-hop group be?
Well, you're wearing a Tupac shirt.
I am wearing a Tupac. We are 3PAC. You're welcome.
Great. He's our third.
And I probably just like
the ghost
broke
of
a bunch
Tupac.
Of copyrighted stuff. Yes.
Just said the ghost of Tupac.
His hologram follows us everywhere we go.
Okay.
So, anyways, I decided for my urban legend, I was going to do my story on the Slenderman. Almost abandoned this topic because it is such a well-known urban legend that everyone pretty much just recognizes it and as nothing more than an urban legend. And literally all of the articles I kept coming across just kept referring to it as, this creepypasta that really took off. And so I was like, well, there's not really a story to tell there. But luckily for me and my ability to stumble upon very obscure websites.
Yes.
Creepypasta Wiki fandom was the website I found. And the fact that I didn't know that existed is ridiculous.
That's
because,
the best website I've ever heard.
I have spent hours of my life lost on creepypastas.
Yes,
like that's,
absolutely.
I don't know. And so then I was like, Amy, once again, you're a loser. And not everyone knows what creepypasta is. So maybe you better go to Wikipedia and copy and paste
for a minute.
the definition of creepypasta. So here it is, people. Creepypasta are essentially internet horror stories passed around on forums and other sites to disturb and frighten readers. The name creepypasta comes from the word copypasta, which is an internet slang term for a block of text that gets copied and pasted over and over again from website to website, much like how I do my research for this podcast.
Same here. Copypasta.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
So creepypastas are sometimes supplemented with pictures, audio, video footage related to the story, typically with gory, distorted, or otherwise shocking content. So I've been reading creepypasta for years. I lose blocks of time from my life when I get to reading creepypasta.
So do you ever go on the Reddit subreddit No Sleep?
Yes.
So are those creepypastas? Or just maybe not, because there's no audio or...
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to have audio or video, though, to be considered a creepypasta. It does run, but then, like with any other subreddit, you just have people jumping in, you know,
oh my gosh,
wanting attention and wanting people to listen.
Though.
Oh, I know.
So creepy.
And I, again, with Reddit, I lose literally hours of my life when I'm diving deep into those. So great places to find all sorts of information you might be interested in. It doesn't even have to be paranormal. Reddit is...
Oh my gosh, Reddit's amazing.
The greatest place on the planet.
I'm really into the Erons subreddit right now, too. Or the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker.
Nice.
Joseph D'Angelo. So if you're into true crime, though, that's a good one.
Yes, these are the things that keep us up at night.
Yes.
All right. So I think I'm just going to jump right into my Slenderman information I found from Creepypasta Wiki Fandom. Thank you for which also happened to have all white text, just like Warrens.net. So I was trying to copy and paste, and there were sections that I forgot to change the font to black, and then I'm like, why do I have all of these blank spots on my article? So anyways, I think I figured it out. If not, Haunted Housekeeping will take care of it next week.
Yes.
All right, so here we go.
All right.
The Slenderman is an alleged paranormal figure purported to have been in existence for centuries, covering a large geographic area. So you're going to see this. Actually, thank God I stumbled upon this website. This does have roots.
All over the place.
All over the place and historically based.
Interesting.
So I was really excited to find that.
Yeah.
Believers in the Slender Man tie his appearance in with many other legends around the world, including, and I'm going to butcher these names.
That's okay. That's okay.
I speak English and Pig Latin. That is it. That's very fluent in both of those, nothing else. There was Fear Dub, or Dark Man, in Scotland.
Oh.
The Dutch... Tonkamat. I don't know. I don't even know. What is Dutch?
Tonkamat. Also Tutankhamun from Egypt. Okay. Egyptian king. Okay, great.
Archaeologists really had a time with him.
What? I'm looking at that word upside down. No.
Which is English translation, Branch Man.
Branch Man?
Yeah.
Well, because of his long arms.
And I love the German legend of, because they even... I guess they have a weird B in German. I don't know.
What is that letter?
Or maybe it was a typo.
No, that's a thing, but what is that?
Do I try to say it with a German accent?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Do you have a German accent?
No, I'm just going to pull one out of my butt.
Okay, great.
Everything I do sounds British.
Just do the
Legend of Der Krapman. or I love this, Der Gross Man. I'm like, how insulting. So, Der Gross Man.
It's my new name.
Which is English translated to the tall man.
Okay, great.
That really...
The tall man. All
real
that.
Original. So the Slender Man is a being, male in appearance, who looks like a man with extremely long, slender arms and legs. So basically Michael Phelps, right?
Yes.
Wasn't he like a really good swimmer?
Yes, he was.
Okay. My sports knowledge is very limited.
He was
I just remember they always said that's why he was such a good swimmer.
Because he had long limbs.
Yeah. What a great trait.
I have the long limbs.
I do not have long limbs, nor do any of my children. But that's okay.
I have average limbs.
We've learned to live with it.
Yes.
People.
Short-limbed people are good at things too.
Yes. He also appears to have 4 to 8 long black tentacles that protrude from his back through different photographs.
What?
And enthusiasts disagree on this fact. Therefore, it's theorized he can contract these tentacles at will. Can you imagine him at parties, though? Yeah, watch this. So we need to liven things up. I've got tentacles. They come out, they come in.
It's like those vacuum cleaners have a retractable plug-in.
Yes. Maybe that's what he does in his spare time. He sells vacuums door to door. Look at this. I can retract. It's amazing.
So weird.
It is weird.
And gross. And
yeah. And if you ever just have a little time on your hands, I highly recommend going online and looking at all the photos, all the photos out there.
I don't know if I can.
Of Slenderman. It is so creepy because there's always children in the forefront.
Oh, because he's in the back.
He's just in the back, and they say that
he's like the Pied Piper.
Yeah,
yeah,
he really is. And they say that he doesn't even care that people are photographing him, and he finds it hilarious that he shows up in all these photos with these children because he knows that
so they're supposed to be real photos.
Yes.
What?
So they say. I don't know. It depends on how
keep talking
much you love your creepypasta.
I mean, I love it all 100%.
Oh, and I found this interesting too because I never really. I've seen the movie. Remember the movie came out last year. I didn't. There was a Slenderman.
Oh God,
movie.
there's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keaton and I went and saw it, but
I did not.
It's interesting how he is purported to take lives. So this says whether he absorbs, which just made me think of that scene from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, where the morbidly obese thing just absorbed that kid. Yes,
the smiling Play-Doh lady.
Whether he absorbs, kills, or merely takes his victims to an undisclosed location or dimension is also known, as there are never any bodies or evidence left behind in his wake to deduce a definite conclusion. So what this is saying is they do believe that he kills, but they don't really know how he's killing or what is happening to the bodies.
What's happening to all the missing children in the world?
It's so terrifying. That and, never mind. I'm not even going to go into my other theory because that's our next episode. Save that for later.
Yes.
His face is pale and slightly ghostly and almost appears to have been wrapped in a type of gauze or cloth. And his facial features are also an object of debate, and many people believe his face looks different to each person if it's seen at all. So then I'm just like, this mask over here is creepy, but then I'm also, he's pale and goes like, okay, well, that's me right now. Like, am I terrifying children and don't even? I'm just walking around Walmart.
I went to pick up Amy and her face was covered in gauze, but I just went with it.
Thought maybe I burned myself frying bacon this morning. It happens. You never know.
Hey, friends don't judge friends.
No, not at all. Which, by the way, fun fact: did we mention that we're doing this at 9:00 in the morning because? Child care complications.
Good morning. Nothing like Slenderman at 9 a.m.
No. What a good start to the day.
Yep.
So he's sometimes portrayed. I found this hilarious. He's sometimes portrayed as wearing a hat, which is sometimes a bowler, a fedora, or a top hat. I'm like, great. So he's a hipster. He loves avocado toast.
Yes.
Fancy beer. I don't know, whatever hipsters are all into. So he's real stylish.
So he just has like 3 different types of hats at home.
I guess.
In the morning, he's like, okay, I've got my gauze on. Now I'm getting on my bowler.
Yeah. What am I feeling today? Or am I feeling like a fedora? I don't know. Maybe.
Britney Spears, circa 2005.
Listened to a little bit of Piece of Me before he decided to leave and was feeling in a Britney mood. I don't know. I don't know why his hat's changed, but good for him. And then this was also interesting. He may also be seen wearing a long flowing necktie or scarf, which is either red or gray. I'm like, okay, he's a Gryffindor. Fantastic.
What?
I don't know. I think it's so interesting. There's all these descriptions of his wardrobe.
They're like, he's got on this sweet tuxedo.
Clearly he doesn't have much of a personality. All you're remembering about him is his gauzed face and his
he has no. Does he have a mouth?
It just depends. They said sometimes he shows himself as what is going to strike the most fear into the people that see him and his victims. He often keeps his long, pale hands crossed politely behind his back or hanging loosely at his sides, which really I found humorous because if you've ever seen my hands, I have really long, skinny fingers, like to the point they're alien. I only wear a size 5 ring. My fingers are so long and gross.
So who says you don't have long limbs?
Yeah, those count.
Jerks.
Fingers count. You've seen my toes. You know what I'm working with here. I can write my name with my feet, people.
She's got long toes and fingers. She can grip things.
I can.
Yeah.
I can, back in the day when video games had cords, could hold the cords while we were playing on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Look out. Super Mario World, here it comes.
You know what this reminds me of, though? You know that Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode?
Yes.
The Gentleman?
Yes.
That's exactly
what I was thinking of when I was researching this. I could just see them because they glide through.
If you're not a Buffy fan, we're uber Buffy fans, but that is the scariest.
Which actually made me kind of wonder, was there Slenderman? I'm sure. I don't know how much Slenderman, because it started as a creepypasta. So I don't think Buffy used that for their inspiration, but maybe creepypasta used Buffy as an inspiration, which makes
Buffy
me get behind it even more.
Buffy's an inspiration to us all.
She is. We can all strive to be a little more like Buffy, people.
One.
Yes.
We just went real nerdy.
Love her.
Yeah.
His suit's black, sometimes portrayed as pinstripe in artwork. He is so snazzy. It's like, I kind of want to like him.
Yeah.
He just seems like the kind of guy that just comes on in with his 1940s music and playing and tapping his toes. I don't know.
He didn't have that gauze on his face.
No.
We could be pals.
It's really holding him back
What's
socially.
under the gauze?
It's like that.
Dude, it's not socially acceptable to have
No.
unless you have an illness or injury. Okay.
Which he may.
I don't know his life.
We don't know his life. We know nothing about him. So
where does he live?
Okay. Sometimes in a pinstripe suit, there's a common misconception thanks to the very similar Jack Skellington.
Oh, shout out to Mandy Brokaw.
Yeah, on the night before Christmas. He has long coattails, which he lets flow proudly.
Oh.
He wears long dress shoes. Like,
whoa.
What?
He's got long toes.
He's got long toes. I am the Slender Man. This is all. He is my long lost relative. I talked last week about going on Ancestry and finding out who we're related to. A Slender Man is my great uncle. I think it was funny too is that his shoes are always shined a perfect gleaming black. Like, this guy takes pride in his
He really
looks.
does.
Yes, he probably murders children. But
absorbs
he
them.
looks real sharp doing it.
Yeah, he does.
So way to go, Slender Man. Nice job.
He's got a high dry cleaning bill.
He does.
That's my joke. That's my joke right now. Great.
This is her jokes at
It's
9
a.m., okay, people? I'm sorry. Dry cleaning jokes.
He's just got tickets everywhere from to go pick up his dry cleaning.
I got so many wire hangers. Yes. I don't know what to do with them all.
I'll just kill children with them.
Great. Oh my gosh. Okay, great.
Oftentimes, it is either reported or recorded he can be found in sections of woods, and these generally tend to be suburban, which great. What? I live...
We live in rural, not suburban.
We're really close. I'm super close to a highway, so that in and of itself...
I'm safe from the Slenderman.
I've got woods everywhere. Just woods. Woods all over the place.
So he lives in the woods?
That's what it's reported.
Ew.
But close
How
enough
does he
to
keep his
suburban
freaking
areas.
clothes so clean? In the woods. He's like walking through
he's just got like a lint roller. That's what all those tentacles are for. They're lint rollers in every single one of them. Spray and wash.
His downy wrinkle release.
He does. He's great.
But how does he keep his damn shoes so clean?
He's got a shoe shine kit. He's got 4 to 8 tentacles.
True.
He's limitless in his ability to clean
situation
himself.
like, I wonder.
I don't know. I imagine he just
Great. We're sitting here making fun of Slenderman.
I know. This is all going to come back to haunt us. At some point, we're going to say something on this podcast that ends
and the
our
Slenderman's
lives.
like, so I heard you're making fun of my outfit. Jerks.
It's like, I sentenced you to an eternity of shining my shoes.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Sorry. He's been reported seen with large groups of children, as many photographs portray. It's commonly thought that he resides in woods and forests and preys on children, so he seems unconcerned with being exposed in the daylight or captured in photos. He
don't care.
He doesn't care. He's like, yeah, I'm here. What are you going to do about it? Look at my outfit. I mean, maybe he's
I'm
like...
on point.
Maybe he's like one of these people who's constantly on Instagram just wanting to be discovered. Like,
he's taking all the selfies.
Yes. I see people doing family photo shoots at the park. I'm just going to show up there and then I'm going to be discovered. I'm
he's
on
just in
like
the
America's
background?
Next Top Model. I don't know. You never know. Could be.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a good filter.
Yeah. It's often thought as well that he enjoys stalking people who become overly paranoid about his existence.
Great.
Purposely giving them glimpses of himself in order to further frighten them. For this reason, it seems that he very much enjoys psychologically torturing his victims. And I even decided this may be true because since I started doing this research, I have now seen Slenderman at Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and the Home Goods off of Mid Rivers. So fantastic. He's after me.
Oh my God.
But then again, I remind myself I'm 5'4" on a good day. Everyone is Slenderman to me.
So your shoes are so shiny from down here.
Yeah, and your sister. What is your secret? Pilates, yoga? Please tell me.
Tell us.
How are you so slender, Slenderman?
No carbs.
That's the real question here. Not how he's killing children.
He's
not
on Weight
what's happening to
Watchers.
the bodies. What is your secret?
He goes to the meetings.
It's keto. That's why he's so angry and just
Give me some bread.
I just want some pasta. You guys keep saying creepy pasta, and it reminds me of everything I can't have in my life.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it.
Poor Slenderman.
Poor Slenderman.
Get that guy a cake.
For real. Another description of him that I found kind of funny. Sorry, Slenderman, but it is. He often appears to float or drift around rather than walk, which suggests the possibility of him being an ethereal being rather than a creature of man. This would also explain why he's able to remain mobile in spite of his poorly proportioned body. So then I'm like, so if he wasn't able to glide, you just see him at Walmart riding in one of those scooters because he's so disproportionate.
Oh my God, no, again, just like the gentleman.
It is.
Because they glide.
Listen, people who came up with Slenderman,
Yeah,
are you
creepy
robbing
pastas.
not Whit? I almost called Buffy Whitney.
Oh my God.
That's the greatest honor I could ever bestow upon you.
Oh my God, Amy, I'm gonna cry. What a compliment. I'm so not as brave as her. Though.
Okay. Now, this is, oh God, oh, there it is.
Oh.
Sorry, I have so many papers flying around.
The look of sheer panic she just had. Oh God!
Where's my paper?
Oh, it's right here. Oh.
Here it is. So even though Slenderman was fabricated on the Something Awful forum, which
where's that?
Well, I had to jump to the Washington Post article I found. I didn't usually any information from them, but their description of the Something Awful forum is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I need to go to that.
They describe the Something Awful forum as a humor site for people who enjoy joking about things like
great, us. Is this
Dungeons and Dragons, porn, and 3D printers. Okay, listen.
Wait, what? Okay.
Who are these people? Like, seriously.
What's so funny about a 3D printer?
What is that combination of Dungeons and Dragons, porn, and 3D printers?
That 3D printer.
I'm not into reality dating shows, but you throw some of these guys on one, I'm watching it. That would be... They'd just be like memorizing what the contestants look like and go home and make them with
Dungeons and Dragons.
Printer.
Funny.
Yeah.
Porn. Funny. I don't know. 3D printers?
No. And I'm okay with any of them in an isolated incident.
Yes,
but you put them all together and it's like...
Weird.
There's not just weird, but... God, if world domination were to be on their radar, heaven help us all. They're just running around 3D printing their own women and making them do all these things they see on their nasty stuff. And I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
So I can't even comment on that.
And Dungeons and then Dragons.
Clearly, I know a little bit of something about 3D printers and porn.
Great.
Dungeons and Dragons, that's outside of my realm,
no.
people. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Okay, let's get back to Slenderman.
Okay, Slenderman. That was hysterical.
It even says he was fabricated on the Something Awful forum, or was he? It's in parentheses. I love that. Some people
in italics.
Yes.
I love it.
And a question mark. I mean, it's got punctuation, it's got italics, it's got parentheses, which I guess are punctuation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
anyways.
it's special.
Some people have already claimed sightings. He is seen mostly at night peering into open windows and walks out in front of lone motorists on secluded roads.
Oh, great.
Great.
Back to, okay,
if
now
you've ever
I'm
been
in
on
this.
Highway 61, you know that's where you're going to run into Slenderman because it's where all
Peering
the
in-
craziness happens.
So that's why we definitely don't, number one, don't leave your children's windows open at night.
No.
It's like a really bad decision.
No. Don't do it. Because Slenderman likes he likes open windows. But I love how just says he peers in them, though. He doesn't actually climb in them. What? Stop it.
He can't get in. He's too slender.
Oh, that's right. He's
very slender,
he's
but
too
too
disproportionate.
He's like,
I've got all these tentacles. I just forget it.
I can't get in.
I'm just going to peek.
But he can float. You think he just float? I don't know.
Yeah. It says his main intentions appear to be kidnapping children, as when he's seen near them in photographs, they usually disappear shortly after.
Oh my
So great.
God.
Maybe in this day and age when you get immediate feedback on your photos, since everything's digital, maybe we can cut back on some of these Slenderman kidnappings, people.
Yeah, we can all just start checking each other's photos for Slenderman in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the end, though, his purpose really seems to remain unknown. An interesting take on Slenderman by a POSTA member who's relying on the Marble Hornets series for evidence and facts.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to even pretend like I do, but I really kind of liked where this guy took it. But clearly I didn't like all the way where he took it because I put an X through stuff.
He got weird.
So this is just, again, with creepypasta. Creepypasta is just kind of, you take a story you've seen online, you copy, you paste it, you add your own to it. So there is this guy who took his own spin on it and said there's a big misconception. And I love how he just acts like he knows him. My pal, the Slender Man, due to the appearance of this article, he does not have hair or face. Everything else is correct. There's also some questioning as to whether or not there is more than one. I find that unlikely. It's most likely that Slendy. Ew. Like, okay, now they've got nicknames for each other. Stop it.
He doesn't have a face. He can't talk to you. He does not approve of that nickname.
No. Which he said, though, he thinks it's most likely he's messing with your head in order to make you think there's more than one, which he's been known to do. So that's kind of what he's saying with the distortion of the face. He's trying to mess with people and make them think there are all these slender...
But there's just one.
Slender men roaming the earth. But there's really just one. There's Slender Man. So he's basically the Ted Bundy.
Oh, my God.
Of the urban legend world. Yes. He looks different every time you see him.
Oh, my God.
Now I'm going to go into a little bit of actual history that kind of ties into where maybe Slender Man, the stories of him originated based on actual fact.
Here, it's fact time.
I mean, it's Wikipedia fact, but it's fact.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's creepypasta wiki fandom fact. Say that 3 times fast. The earliest argued reference to the legend is within cave paintings found in the, again, gonna butcher this, Serra Capivara National Park in northeast Brazil, which are believed to date as far back as 9,000 BC.
Whoa.
I love how I emphasize BC. There is no 9,000 AC, you idiot.
AD.
Or AD. There is ACDC, however.
No, I can't even wrap. Oh my God, I can't even wrap my brain around 9,000 BC.
No, who can? But there
were people then.
I
mean, that's really dumb of me to say, but.
So these paintings show a strangely elongated character leading a child by the hand, but makes no reference to his extra appendages. They're just there.
No one's like alarmed.
And I actually have a little picture here. Look at this. It's crazy.
That's too many appendages.
And the children are like, listen, it's 9,000 BC. We got to harvest these crops, man.
We're hungry.
Go away.
They're saber-toothed tigers. No,
Get
not
away
that
from
time.
us.
Never mind.
We don't, again, who knows? Maybe there was.
I'm not good
I don't
at history.
know. The next known possible reference to the Slender Man comes from around 3100 BC in Lower Egypt, with references of the thief of the gods, or the thief of cuck. Oh my God. Wait, was he running around stealing Kardashians? Because I will donate to his GoFundMe page if that's what he's about.
The thief of cuck.
The thief of cuck. I don't know. Becoming commonplace during the region of Pharaoh Wasner. He sounds like a great time. This looks like
how is that a Pharaoh's name?
Wasner. Sounds like a DJ Wasner in the club tonight.
They always have like a common Tutankhamun. Second.
But that's why we know King Tutankhamun, because his name was... It's stuck.
Yeah, legit.
Pharaoh Wasner, just whatever. He faded off into the sunset.
Pharaoh Wasner. He definitely was a DJ.
Yeah.
That's what's in his tomb.
Sure.
His turntables and like a
giant headphones.
Giant headphones and like a disco ball. Oh my God.
And
great. Okay.
and the Slenderman.
And Slenderman, great.
Hieroglyphic carvings representing the thief were found in the pharaoh's tomb. Hey, look at this. I'm talking about his tomb.
Here we go.
Who was rumored to have had some kind of encounter with the entity. The carvings resemble a strange figure with multiple upper limbs, one that has never been found in any other hieroglyphic language. So that's kind of crazy if you think about it, because typically when there's hieroglyphics, you think of, well, there are multiple ones of them. That's how they've been able to interpret it over the years. But this is the only one that they've ever seen like that.
I have never until today heard about Slenderman having more than 2 arms. Like, that's so interesting.
But if you look up a lot of the, even like the artist paintings and things of him, there's just all these, which makes it even creepier.
Do you think he's an alien?
You know what?
Do you get to that?
No, I do not. But I am not prepared to not accept that.
Yeah. That's
which would explain the mysterious disappearances. For sure.
That's just what I think. Thinking about.
And then another example from history was the renowned German woodcutter Hans Freckenbach. There are so many Hanses.
And how are you a renowned woodcutter? Now this guy can cut some wood. Look out!
I mean, it was 1883, so
wasn't everyone a woodcutter? Yeah. How are you renowned?
Children had to whittle their own toothbrushes back in those days. I'm sure a woodcutter.
How are you?
I love that.
Okay.
Oh, wait. This wasn't in the 1800s. JK. He created at least 2 woodcuts featuring a character he described as Der Ritter.
Oh, his woodcuts were art.
Yeah. Were you thinking he was just like chopping firewood?
Yes! That's why I'm like, okay, everyone did that. Why are you cool?
No, that was his job.
No, I'm with you now, because you have a photo here of his art. Woodcutter. But woodcutter makes you think of like...
I guess.
I was saying I've been working on the railroad, not the right side.
No. So
okay, I'm with you now.
No, he was not Paul Bunyan.
No.
Just putting that out there.
He did art with wood. He whittled.
He did.
Whittled?
Yes.
Is that right?
And he featured a character described as Der Ritter, the Knight, during the mid-16th century, and those were discovered in the Hallsberg Castle in 1883.
Okay.
And something that was unusual among his woodcuts at the time was the fact that he was able to do such a realistic depiction of the human anatomy, and these pictures featured skeletal, multi-limbed character. That they're like, where's this coming from? Because he's making these pieces of art out of wood that are so realistic. That's what he's known for. So why is there this figure with all of these limbs?
That's creepy.
Historians are unsure of the exact symbolic nature of the character. Some think that it was just a personification of the religious wars that raged in Europe at the time. So he was being like one of those artists. Like, look, I'm going to make a statue out of bottle caps so that everyone knows to recycle. Like, just stop. No, just whittle your wood.
Right.
We're going to go with it was the Slenderman.
But why would he think that even if it was a religious thing, or not a religious thing, but like a thing about war, why would he make the guy have multiple limbs?
Exactly.
You know?
Others say it represents a mysterious plagues that have been believed to be the reason the castle and the village were completely just abandoned in 1543. So, again, some people argue, no, it's more of a symbolic piece of art, whereas others are wanting to kind of lean more towards, no, this is something he saw, and he's representing
Those are our
it.
people.
Yes, those are our people. See, we've been around even since the 16th century.
Yes.
Many insist he was attempting to represent, here we go with that weird letter again, Der Grabmann. That was great. It's a good thing I have this cold. I'm really able to put some real actual
Der Grabmann.
Who was also, which is Englishly translated into the tall man. According to legend, he was a fairy who lived in the Black Forest. Bad children who crept into the woods at night would be relentlessly chased by Der Grabmann. I haven't said it twice. I haven't said it at the same time twice yet.
Oh, God. I'm with you.
Who wouldn't leave them be until he either caught them or they were forced to tell their parents of their wrongdoing. So that's classic, like, Grimm Brothers fairy tale kind of stuff.
Scaring children into behaving.
There's also a Romanian fairy tale, which tells the legend of the tall man, featuring this description, which may have been taken to refer to the slender man. The tall man stood in a clearing, dressed as a nobleman, all in black. Shadows lay over him, dark as a cloudy midnight. He had many arms, all long and boneless as snakes, all sharp as swords, and they writhed like worms on nails. He did not speak, but made his intentions known. Yeah. So that just kind of shows you going all the way back. There have been all of these stories. And let's be honest. Yes, a lot of times they're stories to, which I think is hilarious, terrify children into behaving. But then there's also always a little bit of truth behind these. You don't just completely fabricate a description. And the fact that people were actually, trying to replicate what he looked like and things that have been found in historical locations is just crazy.
I believe.
So now I'm going to jump to the fact that even if you don't believe in Slender Man, there are people who've taken the story of Slender Man to a whole other level.
Who do believe.
Yes.
100%.
And I would just like to preface this. I know we agreed when we came into doing this, we were never going to get political, and I don't feel like I'm being political, but I think it's really important to point out that there's a huge epidemic in this country with mental illness.
Absolutely.
And we need to stop stigmatizing it and treating it like any other life-threatening illness and treat it, because I think that this probably wouldn't have gotten to the point it did if the girls in this particular case someone had said, oh my God, look at all these red flags.
Yes.
We need to do something.
Yes.
So that's my little soapbox. I'll hop off of it now. But a few months ago, I watched a documentary on the Reels channel. I love the Reels. They're always like, they do all these shows on celebrity autopsies and stuff. But they did a show called, I think it was The Slender Man Stabbing: The Untold Story.
Ooh.
And it was like a 2-hour documentary, and it was really fascinating. So I thought, how could I cover Slender Man without,
you can't,
bringing this to light? So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information on this actual case. This was in the news. This was not long ago. This happened in 2014. 2 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin. I'm not even going to attempt to say that name. I feel like you have to have a Wisconsin accent to be able to pronounce whatever that says. Waukesha? No, stop it. In Wisconsin, there were 2 12-year-old girls who held down and stabbed a 12-year-old classmate 19 times. Oh my gosh. She didn't die. Thank God for that. Yeah. So I do want to go ahead and point that out. So, because obviously we're idiots and we get on here and we laugh at stuff and we are not in any way, shape, or form making fun of what happened in this situation. It's just something I wanted to bring up because it is tied into this, and now you'll see why. So when questioned later by the authorities, they reportedly claim they wish to commit a murder as a first step to becoming proxies for the Slender Man.
Now, what does that mean? Like his,
having read about
minions?
it online, I'm assuming they wanted to be kind of taken under his wing, and be his groupies. Oh. I mean, for lack of a better term.
They're like, will we get sweet shoes?
Yeah, well, they also stated they were afraid that the Slender Man would kill their families if they did not commit the murder. And I saw, in this documentary I watched, it showed, like, the interrogation and the confession stuff. You know how the police have the video going in their room? And I didn't feel like these girls were just making something up to get out of.
They really thought.
They really believed what they were saying.
Did they think they talked to him? Like, did they feel like they were communicating with Slender Man?
Well, yeah. If they felt like he was going to murder their families.
You know what I mean? They just sitting in their bedroom?
I would imagine it was probably hallucinations. And there is such a thing as mass hallucination. More than one person can see things. So, again, mental illness ain't a joke, peeps.
No.
After the perpetrators left the scene, they said that the victim crawled out of the woods to a roadway. A passing cyclist alerted authorities, and the victim did survive the attack.
But the trauma of that.
Yes.
I mean, 12 years old.
12 years old. All 3 people involved in this were 12 years old. That's
babies.
So sad. Both attackers have been diagnosed with a mental illness, but have also been charged as adults and are facing up to 65 years in prison.
So has their trial taken place yet, I wonder?
I do believe it has, but I think they're appealing it.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong, but I feel like I read that somewhere.
Okay.
One of the girls reportedly said that the Slender Man watches her, can read minds, and can teleport. So, again, massive... I hate to use the word mass hysteria because there were only 2 of them involved, but it sounds like they were both suffering from the same delusions.
Yes.
Which I guess, if you have someone who's already mentally ill and then you bring in someone else who's mentally ill, they can feed off of each other. And
so creepy.
It is really creepy. Now, experts, this is kind of funny. I'm not laughing at the situation.
Yeah.
I'm just, sometimes when things are so horrible, you have to laugh because otherwise you'll lose your mind. The experts testified in court that she also said she conversed with Lord Voldemort.
What?
And one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which one?
That's what I'm like, which one? Was it Michelangelo with the nunchucks? Because he was awesome.
And he loves the pizza.
And then when I read that, all I could think was, go ninja, go. Yeah. Go ninja, go. And I'm like, you know what? If I had a Vanilla Ice song stuck in my head, I might be driven to a stabbing rage.
She talked to Lord Voldemort?
Yeah. So, I mean, these are just, that's really sad.
I don't know which is worse, Lord Voldemort or Slenderman. I'm really not sure. Probably Slenderman. At least
but not
Voldemort
a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
No, that's
okay.
I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like a life-size one when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. He was awesome. He like put him in my Barbie car.
I'm sure he really enjoyed that, too. Great times. He still talks about it.
He does.
So, anyways, on November 12th, 2014, a doctor judged that her condition had improved enough for her to stand trial. On December 19th, 2014, the judge ruled both girls were competent to stand trial. In August 2015, the presiding judge ruled the girls would be tried as adults. They were tried separately. On August 21st, 2017, one of the girls, who was 15 then at that time, pleaded guilty to being party to attempted second-degree homicide, but claimed she was not responsible for her actions on grounds of insanity. Prosecutors alleged she knew that what she was doing was wrong, and the jury determined she was mentally ill during the attack, so she'll spend at least 3 years in a mental hospital, which... good, though.
Yes.
That's what she needs.
Absolutely.
Clearly, there was mental illness behind this.
Yes.
And again, sometimes people get so into some of the... I guarantee they've read a lot of the urban legends. Like, they didn't just make up Slenderman, obviously.
Right.
And if you spend so much of your time just being completely submerged in this kind of stuff,
start to think it's
there does
real.
get a break between reality and...
Clearly, we're two examples of that. No, I'm kidding.
So anyways, that was my story on...
Unless Slenderman's real, Amy.
I mean...
I think he's an alien.
I do too. I really do believe there's something behind it. I don't think it's just something completely fabricated.
Usually I go straight to alien, though.
Well, yeah. You know. Anything I can't explain, I go straight to alien.
Right. Oh, it's an alien.
Because they have the capabilities of eluding us.
We don't even know.
No.
So many capabilities.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, good job, Amy. Thanks. Slenderman, very fascinating stuff, you know? Okay. So I'm going to be doing Black-Eyed Children.
Oh my God, I've been creeped out by Black-Eyed Children
Some of these stories
years.
Too. So how I'm going to do this is first I'm going to cite my sources so we don't get sued. And then I'm going to explain what are Black-Eyed Children, and then I'm going to go into like 3 or 4 experiences. So I will be reading those word for word because they're someone else's stories. Yes. So I want to make sure I do
And to preface this as well, please... No, I have incredibly dark eyes that are often described as black, and so do all 3 of my children. So
Amy is a black-eyed adult.
Real hard for me to separate myself from this sometimes. Like,
no, your eyes are brown. I can see that.
Are my children going to kill me?
No.
Great.
That Carter, I don't know.
Carter's just ringing people's doorbells.
Ding dong, let me in, my mom. I need to call my mom. And it's like, okay, I'll get to it.
Okay.
All right, so some of my great sources. Do you know who Jim Harold is?
I do not.
Okay, Jim Harold is a podcaster, and he has a podcast called Jim Harold's Campfire, and he tells ghost stories. It's a great podcast.
Great. I'll have to check it out.
He's kind of, I don't know, he seems real just nice. But on his website...
So he's Mr. Rogers.
Right, yeah. Okay. Of the paranormal world. On his website, a guy named Ryan Sprague, he has like a blog on there, and he wrote an article called Can We Come In? The Lore of the Black-Eyed Children.
Ugh.
I know. I also got some of this from an article on Thought Catalog, the website Mysterious Universe. There was an article on there by a guy named Jason Offutt, who's a paranormal researcher and journalism professor at Northwest Missouri State University.
Nice.
Why didn't I go to college there?
I know.
How freaking cool is that? He's like teaching you journalism, but also as a paranormal researcher.
Great. And I just went to, whatever college would take me.
Me too.
Didn't have a great high school GPA. This is what happens. I went to a college known for I don't know, They probably invented the beer bong or something. They're like just really
That's
noteworthy.
pretty darn cool, though.
Oh God, I'm just like, I'm already sweating.
My pants are. Oh, sorry, and I'm just like, my pants are so tight over here. I need to
I'm
unbutton
just freaking out because I have enough background knowledge of what black-eyed children are, and they are. This is hands down
really
one of
creepy.
the scariest things I've ever
super
watched a TV show about,
Yes.
read stories about. They just get inside my head, and so I'm not going to sleep for days. Thanks for picking this topic.
Yeah,
Whitney.
you're welcome, because I was like, I've been really wanting them to do this for a while. So, the first reported sighting of black-eyed children that was like reported on the internet was by a guy named Brian Bethel in 1996, and I'm actually I'll explain his experience later, but he's the first one who like put it out there. This is what happened to me. And actually, after he had his experience, he sent a group email, because it was 1996. He got logged on to AOL and sent his group email to all of his friends and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what just happened to me." So it's just, and then some, him. Yeah. And hopefully he had great friends that believed him. But
right.
So what are black-eyed children? We don't know. They often show up at different places. So they might show up at your home. They might show up at your car if you're in a parking lot. Some people have seen them in grocery stores.
Ugh.
I know, probably the Troy Walmart.
I mean, if that's where they're going to be.
They're going to be
hanging
there.
out by the red box.
Right. Will you give me $1? No, I don't know. Can I rent this? Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah. They tend to avoid eye contact. A lot of times they tend to have like long bangs. A lot of times they're blonde too, which I think is
and have their hoods pulled up. They're always wearing hoodies, which is
have their hair pulled down. But once you get a look at their eyes are pitch black. They don't have any white to them at all. Otherwise, they look like normal children, except they're very, very, very pale, or look like have a death pallor. I don't know what that means, but like blue.
Yeah, I would assume almost like that when people are super pale, you can see their veins.
Yes, it's exactly like that. People who see them are obviously like, why is this kid coming up to my window? But also get this intense feeling of terror and doom and fear and like something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen.
Which is so crazy that they carry that with them, that someone can just sense. That's how evil they are. They can just,
or it's your human like gut,
like survival instincts kicking in.
Yeah, that's kind of. I need to sit forward. That's what I keep thinking is maybe it's that, but
which mine is always in overdrive. So whatever. I've about maced so many innocent bystanders on so many occasions. It's really, I'm surprised I haven't went to jail for assault. Put the mace away.
This lady tried to stab me with her keys. They seem to have a telekinetic power, so people are like drawn to them. So like if they come, if they're at your door and your home, you like feel drawn to open and unlock the door and let them in.
Right.
Which is gross. So
I've never had that experience. I'm like, everyone hide, the UPS guy's pulling in the driveway. Turn the lights off. Lay on the floor. Do not get up until you hear the truck back away.
Right.
So I cannot relate to that.
No. But that UPS driver doesn't have telekinetic power.
I mean, that we know of.
No.
I don't know. Sometimes those Amazon boxes just seem to float right to my porch. That's why I ordered. That's why there's so many packages on my porch.
Why did I order another flash drive? Why do I need so many? Oh my god! Okay.
Oh, Amazon Prime, you're really my life.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're good. They tend to travel in packs, so there's usually never just one. There's at least two, sometimes like up to 6. They often tend. Which this is like a sometimes thing. Sometimes they tend to be wearing clothing that's dated or would be unusual for a child of their age to wear.
Oh.
But then again, I've heard the hoodie thing too. So it goes both ways. I don't know.
I feel like every kid that hangs out at every skate park in every town in the United States of America, pretty much.
They tend to always be asking you to do something that would put you into really close quarters with them. Like, can I come into your house? Can I come into your car? And they are always seem to be asking to use your dang phone. Which every kid in America has a phone. Right. Who's at least 12. Like, these our kids are like 12 and up, usually.
They do not need your electronics.
No,
everyone.
They have... It's just like on My Favorite Murder, I remember one time they were like, no man goes up to a woman and is like, can you please help me put my sailboat on my car?
Right.
Ted Bundy. Just like no teenager in America is going to go up to a middle-aged person and ask to use their phone.
They really need to work on their sales pitch. Mm-hmm. They need to be like, hey, lady.
I'm bleeding. Like,
yeah. Or
use your mother.
Can you call 911? Can you do something?
Not can I use your phone? And then they show a flip phone or something. Mine's dead. And we're like, whoa, red flag.
It's a rotary phone. It just has a really long cord. Or just dragging it around.
No cord at all.
Or the big Zach Morris phone from Saved by the Bell.
My electronics are misfiring. We're like, whoa, red flag.
Can you help me? I got Kelly Kapowski with me, Eric. Can we get in your car?
If they showed up with like a BlackBerry, I'd be like, what?
It's 2019. Something's a mess.
Yes.
This is not normal.
You don't have earbuds in?
No.
Like, okay, we're alarmed. They don't seem to be able to come into your home or your car without being invited, though.
Okay, so it's almost like the vampire things where they have to be invited in.
Exactly.
But then once that happens, well, it's a free-for-all. You're done.
You're done.
Which again, see, my social awkwardness saves my life every day.
Yes, because we're not inviting anyone in. Remind me to tell a story, though, after this about something that happened to me this week.
Okay.
Some people, though, have reported, which I've never heard this until I got on some of these very weird websites, of the black-eyed kids having talons or hooves for feet.
Ew. Well, are they really polite when they knock on your door and take their shoes off? Why are you? How are you seeing their hooved?
That I don't know.
Excuse me, I don't want to get your carpet dirty. I'm just gonna slip off.
Don't mind my hooves. I haven't gotten a pedicure in a while.
Hooves? What are they? Just all wearing Crocs? Like, what are you getting your hooved feet into? I don't understand.
Well, I'm imagining someone with a hoof walks like what's a centaur?
Yes. I've never seen a centaur wear shoes.
No.
That is kind of
every centaur I've ever seen is barefoot,
whether on the big screen or at my social gatherings. They don't.
My
wear
centaur
shoes.
friends don't wear shoes.
Come on, black-eyed children.
Oh my gosh. So I looked and tried to find at least one story of someone who actually let them in their car or into their home. I couldn't find any, but I did find...
Probably because they're dead.
Yes. But I did find one, on Reddit, of course. I was on all over Reddit for hours and hours. But I found...
easy to do.
Oh my gosh, I know. So I found one guy who referenced that his wife, who was a teacher, had let a black-eyed children into her car and gave him a ride home. But it seemed like his wife was still alive, but that bad things started happening to her, but none of it was very clear, and so I didn't include it.
So kind of like they just leave some bad juju with you.
Yeah. Or they kill you, I don't know.
Yeah.
So what are black-eyed children? We don't know. Aliens, vampires, demons.
A combination of all three.
Kids on drugs. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I think I go with alien or I think they're... we'll get there at the end. Okay. Because some of these things I'm just like, who talks like that?
But there are so many reports of them.
Yes.
There is something behind this.
Yeah, it's
this
something
is
weird.
Not just a simple... This isn't, Bloody Mary or whatever.
No.
This
go online.
is real.
If you Google black-eyed children, though, all these pictures show up that clearly are not real photos, though. So
right.
Because I was like, what? Okay, who is this kid? And some of them were old. Anyway.
Well, because no one's ever, what, you want my... No, I'm not going to let you in my house or my car, but can I take a picture of you? Because your ears and your hooved feet are really weird. And nobody's going to believe this. So can I just put this on Instagram?
Can you go ahead and take off your shoe and then put it back on? I'd like to video how that occurs. So the first story I'm going to tell you is Brian Bethel's experience. So he's the first person to ever share a black-eyed children experience. I almost said black-eyed peas. Different.
What up, Fergie?
Fergalicious.
Remember when she peed her pants on stage? That was so...
God.
Black-eyed peas career really went down after that. Anyway.
I can relate. Probably do something like that. Sorry, I'm looking at that toilet paper roll again. Damn it.
We ever get big enough, we're doing live podcasts. There's just urine.
Oh, God.
Dripping.
Oh, my God. I've been...
Just kidding.
Yeah. No, just kidding. Please buy a ticket. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so... It's spring, summer. I don't know the month. So it's one of those two...
Or the season, clearly.
It's one of those...
Spring, summer. It was a solstice.
It's one of those 2 out of the 4 total seasons.
She got a 50-50 shot.
So it's a season in 1996. I don't know. It was warm. It wasn't clear. I didn't do it. Listen, I am the procrastinator of this group. Amy comes in here with beautiful notes that she's went over and jotted down like funny things to say. Not me. I did this last night. So
no, that's just how my brain works. I could do it off of here, but no matter what the
spring
season,
summer.
I can promise you the black-eyed children were not wearing flip-flops in this story.
They can't,
and I would pay to see that. Let me see.
It's really discriminatory that flip-flops are not made for people with hooves. That's all I'm saying.
Get a Lauren Conrad.
Yes.
Work on that for,
Old Navy
for
for your 99-cent flip-flops. Okay, great.
Okay, sorry. Here we go.
I also say okay, great all the time. I noticed that while
that's your catchphrase.
While re-listening to my podcast.
I'll put it on a shirt for you.
On my way to work
great.
like a total psychopath.
Okay on one boob, great on the other. It'll be a really
okay, great.
Really cute shirt.
Lord.
You're welcome.
Okay. So spring summer 1996 in Abilene, Texas. So this is back in 1996. Put yourself back there, okay?
Oh, I'm there, girl.
Yeah.
Those some of the best years of my life.
It's the early days of the internet. There's no online payment of anything. So Brian is headed out at 9 p.m. to go to his local internet provider's building to drop off his check to pay in the overnight
so
box.
Dial up and go. Remember that? I don't know. That was stupid. I'm not the one that does the voices. What am I doing? That's your forte. Stop it. Stop
no, I loved it. I just love that he's like, well, it's 9 p.m. spring summer. I'm going to go ahead and go get my check and go put it in to the little night deposit box thing at AT&T or wherever. So he parks in front of this movie theater. I guess it's maybe next door to his internet provider because there's like lots of lights there, and starts making out his checks. Okay. Am I right?
Yeah.
Funny. Okay. And suddenly he hears a knock on his door. Oh, see, do you like that sound effects? Sound effects?
We're very fancy.
That was me. Okay. He looks over to see two boys, aged between 9 and 12. Brian says, I was immediately gripped by an incomprehensible, soul-racking fear. I had no idea why. So he cracks the car window, and he's like, hey, kids, what do you want? I don't know. That's me. And they're like, well, we want to ride home to get some money. We want to see Mortal Kombat. So 1996.
So historically relevant.
Right. It's so 1996. Because I guess they told him that like their mom had dropped them off but didn't give him money. So he's like, okay, seems clear enough. But Brian says, but all throughout this exchange, the irrational fear continued and grew. I had no reason to be frightened of these two boys, but I was terribly. So he happens to look up the marquee and notice that the movie had already started and had been happening for a while.
Ooh.
So he's
How smart of him to be able to put,
or just coincidental, but yes,
but to be able to put two and I wouldn't have been able to do that.
No,
I can't even have it on my phone what time the movie starts and here's your confirmation. You've already bought your tickets and get there. I can do the math in my head to know if it's started or not when I get there. So good for him.
Yeah. So he realized that if he was going to take them somewhere, drive them home, get money, and come back, the movie would be over. So that doesn't make sense. So as all this is taking place, the spokesman, there's always a spokesman of the black-eyed kid group. There's always one who talks, and the rest are just kind of quiet.
Okay.
And so the spokesman kept saying, it won't take long. We're just two little kids. We don't have a gun or anything. What? Don't know.
What a random thing to say.
Not normal, right?
No, not at all.
So he says that in the short time that he'd broken so he was looking at the spokesman while they were talking. In the short time he had broken his gaze with the spokesman, something changed. And he said he noticed right then that they both had coal black eyes, soulless orbs like two. Oh gosh, sorry. See, this is why I should use paper. Soulless orbs like two great swatches of starless night. I full on freaked out inside while trying to appear completely sane and normal. I made whatever excuses came to mind. I got diarrhea. I gotta go. I don't know what yours.
It's like that Proactive commercial. I have jury duty tonight.
Exactly. Well, I got diarrhea and jury duty. Gotta go. Bye.
I feel like I'm going to get dismissed from that jury real fast.
Yes.
With my explosive diarrhea.
Excuse me. Oh my God. So, and busted out of there. So Brian was like, oh, I got diarrhea. Bye. And then busted that car into
I love how you just did that motion. Like, Brian was driving a 4-speed. Hyundai Elantra, because she's shifting gears over here with her hands.
And then he like, squeal.
I just imagine him driving around the parking lot, doing donuts, hanging out the window. Not tonight, suckers!
You're not taking my soul!
But could you go drop this in the deposit box for me? I totally forgot to put my internet check in there.
I really don't want to be late. I've got a great credit score. Yes, that's Brian. Oh, Brian, what a guy. So he... so before he peeled out, the main kid was like banging on his window though before he got the chance to roll it all up and was like, "We can't come in unless you tell us it's okay. Let us in." Which is crazy.
Well, that just confirmed that no, I am
no, you're not right.
In my car.
So he drives away in blind fear. He's surprised he didn't sideswipe a car or two. I'm gonna say he did because it makes it funnier. And he looks in his rearview mirror and the kids are gone.
Vanished.
And he's in a parking lot so he said even if they had run, there was nowhere they could have gone.
And then all I would think is that they're like underneath my car.
Or on top of your car. Yeah. You just start slamming on your brakes. Which is really impressive
after all those donuts Brian just did. Wow. Crocs are just flying everywhere.
His feet, they're like, why is that? People are like, why is that goat on top of that car? Weird. So what does Brian think they are as the, unofficial expert, as the first person? He says, this is a quote from Brian. "I don't know for sure. What I do know is that they're predators and we are the food. I don't think they eat us in a literal sense, but they do want something from us. Maybe they do just want to kill, but I tend to think the design is far more complex than that. Unless you've been on the receiving end of those terrible dark eyes filled with hate and torn from the very depths of night and time, I'm not sure you can understand. The people I've spoken with who have truly seen them understand completely."
Ooh, I just had an epiphany when you said that too. I think the fact that they're always children, and again, I'm kind of stealing this from Nosferatu. If you haven't seen it, it's a show made by a story that Joe Hill wrote. So good.
Joe Hill's great.
Yes, Joe Hill's Stephen King sung, everyone, if you don't know.
Amazing.
He wrote a book called Nosferatu, and AMC turned it into a series over the summer. It was on so good. And there's this guy on there, what is it, Mr. Banks, and he steals children to take them to Christmas land. That's like his other... Sorry, I'm going to try not to drag this on because I'm totally interrupting your story. But anyways, he's super, super, super old, but he steals...
Their youth?
Their youth.
Oh.
And then they become... It doesn't kill them, but they become like these creatures with these really sharp teeth and stuff. And then he takes them to live at Christmas land. So then they feed off of people. He has to bring people there for them to feed off of. But he is able to steal their youth, and he reverses in age when he does that. So it kind of makes you think, is it that
like
why they're always children?
The mom from Rapunzel.
I mean, exactly.
Oh my! Well, maybe. Yeah, makes you wonder though. Like, what is it?
They're like, I just want your beautiful hair. What is your secret?
Bye!
Is it Win by Chaz D? I don't know. Is this still a thing? Those infomercials.
Win by Chaz D. Oh my God, we're such dorks. I love it. Okay, so this next one is no, you're good. That is interesting though, because we don't know what these things are.
I've never thought of it that way before, but now I'm like, ooh.
Because why are they kids?
Yeah.
This one, in this story, this next one I'm going to tell you though, they're a little bit older. Well, one of them is. There's only two of them. Okay, so here we go.
I'm here.
Picture this. A woman's at home with her husband and her almost 2-year-old child. They're sleeping. She wakes up in the middle of the night to her dog standing on her bed, facing the door and growling.
Oh, God. I hate... Why does there have to be a pet in this when my dog does this a million times a day?
Get ready. It gets worse. Women thought, you can tell this is it's a direct copy and paste.
Suddenly she's a concubine with all of...
It just says woman the whole time throughout this, too.
There's a harem of women in this story. Just kidding. Sorry.
Woman thought, so she thought it would make sense to open her bedroom door to show the dog that there's nothing on the other side of it and calm the dog's fears down. But when she opened the bedroom door, the dog went bananas and ran to the front door. Great.
Oh, my dog does this too every day. Stop.
Woman follows dog to front door. Sorry, that makes it less scary when I'm saying that.
I mean, just start calling her Cheryl. I don't.
Amy, when she gets when she gets to the front door, she reaches for the deadbolt to unlock it, and the dog goes bananas. So once she touches the deadbolt, the dog suddenly silenced and began to whimper. So she pulls her hand back because she's like, what is happening right now? And looks through the peephole, where she sees 2 children standing on her porch. One is around 16 to 17.
Gross.
And she's holding the hand of a 2 to 3-year-old. And this is the middle of the night, okay?
Oh.
The older one was slender and pale, and her hair was a light shade of honey blonde. She wore it long, about mid-back, with long, thin, blunt bangs in the front that covered most of her eyes. She wore jeans, a light wash, that's popular right now, it says. Mom jeans.
Yes.
And a thin-looking olive-colored pullover-style hoodie. She held the hand of a small girl who looked to be around 3 or 4. Earlier it said 2 or 3, so okay.
She's literally aging before her eyes.
She's 2 to 4.
And this is the part of the story where I'm totally screwed because at least Cheryl has a peephole. Like,
Yeah,
I just got my whole front door is windows.
Yeah,
so
mine too.
Like,
you're just face to face with them, and you're like,
yeah, sorry.
So you just don't turn on any lights when you go to your front door.
No, but I have to. I live in the middle of nowhere. It's completely dark.
Well, turn on the outside light, but not your light
okay,
inside.
got it.
Yeah. Because you don't want them to see you.
No, but I always leave a light on in my house. Oh, God, I'm going to die.
No, you got to turn all the
Children are
lights
gonna
off. Because if you leave lights on inside your house, they can see in there and see
I'm
you.
done for. The end. Between the black-eyed children and the UPS man. Like, I may as well just have all my power cut off. There's no need for lights anymore.
You're like, what's that movie? The Others. You're Nicole Kidman and The Others now.
Oh, my
just
God.
Carrying her.
Watch that again.
That's a great movie. Oh, my gosh. It's so scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We better just shut our faces now before we spoiler alert the whole damn thing.
Let's see here. Okay, so she's 3 or 4, between 2 and 4, and she's in the same style jeans and a button-down ivory cardigan. I don't know why this is so important. The smaller one looked at the floor shyly, but had the same shade of hair tied back in a ponytail. She held a stuffed toy under her free arm, and it was identical to the one that this woman's daughter had.
Okay, time out, though.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed with Cheryl right now. She just gave such an accurate description of what they're wearing and not one word about their shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I need to know.
And their feet were hooves. No. Yeah, nothing about their shoes.
I'm getting old enough, like, I'm probably going to start developing bunions and stuff that resemble hooves. Like, I need to know what kind of shoes they're wearing. So I go to the Good Feet store. I saw Ozzie Smith on your commercial. What can you do for my hooved
unbuttoning
feet?
my pants. I'm sorry.
Am I rubbing you with my
Yeah,
foot?
it's
sorry.
fine, I am just
with my hoof. I'm just rubbing you with my hoof.
Amy and Amy's hooves are scratching the crap out of my legs, but it's fine. So this is creepy to me, though, that the doll, like the stuffed animal that the little girl had, was identical to one that this woman's child had, and so was her sweater.
Oh,
so it was like almost as if this child was meant to resemble her child.
Oh, okay. I thought
similar
you were
ages.
Just robbed her, and she's really in it. She's like, well, they came in and stole a cardigan and a stuffed animal. Like,
what about the valuables? Yeah. Well, maybe it's like meant to be playing with her mom.
Exactly.
Intuition thing. Yeah. Had it not been for the feeling of overwhelming dread and fear, I probably would have asked these children in and given them some hot tea or chocolate to get them out of the bitter cold.
Ugh.
Because, like, you're a mom, you care, or you're a human being.
I mean, well, I don't even do that for my own children unless I'm like, get all those boots off. They're covered in mud.
Exactly. But they're just so clean, except we don't know what's happening with their feet.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the Slenderman's giving them some pointers.
Right.
This is my dry cleaner.
Your shoes.
Give them my name, Slenderman. They'll be good to you.
Space Man.
Yeah.
So something about them seemed off. At this point, she said, Cheryl, who we've just called Cheryl.
Yeah, why not? It's better than woman.
Losing my hair.
Because I feel like it's just like some like Al Bundy. Woman!
I know. I
Come in here. Make my baked beans, woman. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
So at that point, Cheryl said she hadn't made any noise at all. She hadn't shushed the dog or grumbled anything. She hadn't turned on any lights. The children should have had no indicators that she was at the door. But the older one spoke at that point. Ugh. She had a voice that was mature, confident, strong, and accentless. That's a word. She held her head tilted downward so that I couldn't see her eyes. She said, "We have to use your phone." I stood frozen in fear. How did she know I was there? I like how this has now gone to first person. She raised her head to face me directly, and that's when I saw her eyes. There was a reason I couldn't see them through her bangs before. They were black, or midnight blue, or a dark, dark purple. Okay. They were otherworldly. Ew. She said, "Yuck. Our mother's worried." What?
How do you know your mother's worried? You're over here stealing my cardigans.
Right. And your mom, if you're 16 and you got your 2-year-old little sister with you, and it's the middle of the night, your mom done called the police.
Right.
They're looking for you.
Your mom's circling the block in her car. Just go stand by the curb.
She's in her minivan honking and, yeah, no.
So clearly this is a fabricated story. So good for Cheryl for figuring that out.
So Cheryl is one of us as well.
Okay.
And she knew the second that she looked at her through the peephole what she was. She was like, "Oh, snap, sister black-eyed child."
Cheryl's like, "I'm not here for this. My she shed already burnt down this week. I'm done."
She was like, "I've been standing." So Cheryl says, "I was standing there with nothing but a thin wooden door between me and a black-eyed kid. There was no questioning what was right in front of me. I did not answer her. Slowly and silently, I backed away from the door. With the dog's name is Lucy now." With the dog, Lucy.
I feel like maybe we're going to find out what Cheryl's real name is now.
Who even knows? It's magical. Okay. With Lucy still cowering at my ankles, the girl kept talking. "Just let us in to use your phone." I took another step back, and with that, the tone changed. At first, she seemed polite. When I took that second step back, she became commanding, almost hostile. "We're not going to hurt you. If we wanted to do that, we would have broken in. I'll ask again. May we come in and use your phone?"
Oh, don't threaten me, girl with bangs. That seems what they something they refer to her to in this article.
Girl with bangs.
Girl with bangs.
Lucy snarled at the door, and I inched backwards, though something inside me seemed to be slowly pulling me back toward the door. It wasn't a physical pulling so much as a subconscious need to go back and let them in. Ugh. I got to my room, covered up the window. Yes, that's so something I would do. Locked the door and sat there in the dim light of the nightlight. I heard her call me back to the door once more and then quiet.
Ew. Never sleep again. God, how terrifying.
Maybe I have too many of these. So many stories still. Okay. This one creeps me out, though, too.
Okay.
So this one's from the 1950s. Okay. Again, I don't know the season or even the location. But I do know it was Harold. This person has a name.
So if you're listening, it took place in your neighborhood.
Harold.
So there.
Harold was 16 years old when this happened. He was making the long walk home from a friend's house. As he made way down the dirt road leading to the entrance, I don't know of what, he noticed a small figure leaning against the fence in front of his house. As he approached, he noticed that it was a boy. So this is weird because this one's alone. Okay. Being a small town, everyone knew everyone. Harold was puzzled, having never seen this child before. He immediately started talking to the boy, but received no response. He asked if the boy was all right, and after a moment, the boy finally replied, "I want to go to your house. Take me to your house."
Oh, my God. Like Chris Hansen's hiding in the trees. We're going to go to catch a predator.
Right.
Well, this was the 1950s. The little boy is Chris Hansen.
Yes. He's like, "Oh, God,
I'm going to catch this predator. Watch me."
A chill rushed through Harold. He didn't know how to respond. It was in that moment that the boy looked up at him, a solid pair of black eyes looking back at him with a desperate assertiveness.
Ew.
Harold felt glued to the ground, terrified. He looked up the road, planning to run when the boy immediately shot back. "Now, don't you run away from me. You're going to walk me to your house."
Ooh, so now we've got some mind reading abilities going on here.
Harold was now feeling threatened, so he made a run for it. Yeah, way to go, Harold. Too scared to look back, all he heard was a screeching wail like that of a bobcat.
Ew.
Foiled again!
Yeah, which if you've ever, I've heard that in real life.
It's the worst sound.
It is horrifying. There was one on my front porch, I don't know, about a year ago, at like 4 a.m. I thought someone was being murdered in my yard.
It's the worst sound.
Absolutely horrible.
So when Harold got home, his mom thought that he'd literally just met the devil, so he got blessed.
Well, he probably did.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Let's see here.
And then that was it. Harold just became a recluse and never spoke to anyone again. And I could totally pick up what Harold's throwing down because that's what I would do as well.
This one I don't quite understand. Well, this one starts out like this. Experiencer Ezekiel Finch. Because that is Is that his job? Like a promoter?
Go through, that sounds like an Instagram influencer.
Yes.
I'm an experiencer.
I just experience things.
And document it. And then make money.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
So Ezekiel's run into black-eyed kids more than once, even in different states.
Oh.
He believes with a fair degree of certainty that they're vampires.
Okay.
I think it's interesting.
I can see that.
Yeah, he had 2 close encounters with them, one in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the other in a medium-sized city on the East Coast. Very anonymous,
Yeah.
which he chose not to identify.
No, but he's certainly experiencing
Yes.
the United States and all it has to offer as an experiencer, so nice job.
Yep, so this is creepy. So, 2 of my most extensive encounters were within very, very close quarters with them in the low 30s, meaning temperature. The way he said that is weird.
Oh, yeah.
He watched them as close as he could. So he was standing in the cold night amongst a small crowd of people. I don't know what he's doing, but he suddenly felt uneasy. So this is one where it's like in public.
Okay.
Something was wrong with 2 people that were there. First was their black eyes. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Good investigating.
Just might make detective yet.
Good experiencing Ezekiel. And then...
Can you experience what kind of shoes they're wearing, please? Because this is eating
Someone
away
please
at me.
tell me.
I can't take it.
So again, it's the 30s. And so when they would exhale, you couldn't see their breath. But when anyone else exhaled, you could see their breath, which is really interesting.
Tells you something about their core body temperature. Too.
He thinks they were dead. Moving on from Ezekiel, because his is kind of dumb. Okay, here's the last one.
Come on, Ezekiel, get it together.
Yeah, Ezekiel's stupid. But he does think they're predators. Carrie Kistner. So again, I'm reading this is word for word. Carrie Kistner hadn't intended to stop at the Triangle Town Center Mall on her way home from Wake Tech Community College.
Oh, what?
Near Raleigh, North Carolina.
Listen, as a compulsive shopper,
But she did.
I can understand this.
Carrie's like, don't turn. I'm turning.
I got this $25 burning a hole in my pocket. I've got this Old Navy gift card. I just got to go. I got to do it.
We get it, Carrie. We've all been you.
It's been a hard day at tech school.
At Wake Tech.
I've been sawing things and welding. Maybe they have a new welding mask I can buy here. I don't know.
Carrie was sick of it, but she stopped. And she really wished she hadn't. There weren't a lot of people there, and it was really creepy and eerie and quiet. So while she was walking back to her car after making an amazing purchase, she rounded a corner and saw an old lady and a young boy. He immediately caught my attention because he was so odd looking. I'd never seen anyone like him. The boy, about 12 years old, seemed average at first, but as Kistner watched him talk with the woman, he seemed anything but average. His black hair contrasted sharply with his pale skin. Hey now.
Yeah.
You know, pale people got feelings
That's
too.
right. It was in the 30s there as well. Because
right. It's cold.
Well, unless he's going somewhere to get a really good spray tan.
Right.
No judgment.
No, he likes SPF, okay? Dark patches hung under his eyes. It looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. He had a very thin face. As Carrie walked closer to the pair, she heard their conversation. In a quiet but strong voice, the boy asked the woman for help. So we got this poor old lady.
Okay, so she's actually standing
Normal
back
person.
as a spectator seeing him
talk to this old
try
woman.
to pull this old woman in. Got it.
Yep.
Ooh, I think that's maybe even creepier than being the person they're trying to...
Well, and you gotta think it's like a sweet old lady.
Yeah.
And he's trying to take advantage of her. He stood very rigid with his hands by his sides, looking at the ground as she fished around in her purse for something to give him. Carrie said, as I got closer, I noticed he seemed to get more and more uncomfortable. The boy began to shift his body when Carrie passed by them on her way to her car. She's just like, Carrie, stop and help.
Like, whatever. The old lady's digging around her purse. You know you're going to get like an old piece of that ribbon candy.
Or a
just
butterscotch.
Stuck all over it. Oh, no. Ribbon candy doesn't even come in a wrapper. That's
gross.
Old. You know, they come in those tins always stuck together.
No.
So it's like, here you go.
I don't even know what that is.
I just love your black eyes, little boy.
Here's some ribbon candy.
Some ribbon candy with some lint on it.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So as she walked by, he lifted his head and made eye contact with her. She said, I froze. His eyes were black as night, very dull, almost dead. The look he gave me has haunted me. The feeling I got from him was as though he wasn't all there, almost ghostly. So the boy turned slowly, not waiting for the older woman to give him what she had dug in her purse for, and simply walked away. Kistner doesn't know who or what the boy was, but this memory will stick with her forever. Ever since then, the look he gave me has haunted me, almost like he knew what I'd been thinking. So here's the thing. Like, the stories I chose aren't necessarily the most, like, scariest things ever, but it's like, why would someone make that up?
Right.
It's not like...
They're so realistic.
Yeah, and it's not like it's so out of control where you're like, what? What? You know, like a creepypasta. Or because if you go on like the No Sleep site on Reddit, or you go on Reddit and search Black-Eyed Children, you will find a ton of stories. And some of them you're like, really? That is like you are Stephen King writing a story.
Right. Yeah, they're so out there, it's hard to be believable.
Yes. But some of these I'm like, why? If you're going to make up a story about Black-Eyed Kids, why are you going to make that up? It's not even...
Which is the makings of a really good urban legend.
Absolutely.
That's why it's gained traction. That's why every time I read anything, or, I mean, I've watched several shows before that have covered Black-Eyed Children, it scares me more than, honestly, like seeing things about demon possession or, like, evil, paranormal activity stuff. Like, there's just something. I think it's their children. One,
yes, children.
We already know. Everything that involves children absolutely terrifies me. And then just the description of them, and their ability to prey on people's emotions and wanting to help, and knowing exactly the right things.
Your
to
instinct
say.
says,
right.
No, absolutely.
So,
So especially the one with the woman in her home with her family, like that's what a lot of them end up being like. Like you're at home and you just hear a knock at the door.
It's not like you've even put yourself in a situation
for
something to be happening to you. You're
not at
literally
all.
just home in bed minding your own business and they show up at your door. So
creepy.
Nice job, Whitney.
Thank you.
Even though I hate the topic because it terrifies me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So one thing I want to say real quick, because I had an incident that happened to me this week that was really weird, Amy. I haven't told Amy this because I wanted to tell her personally on the podcast. So as you know, like we're both big fans of My Favorite Murder.
Right.
And one of their big slogans is F politeness, right? So this week I'm at a gas station and I'm pumping gas. And this man approaches me, okay?
Oh, God.
He has, he's wearing a very jaunty vest and is carrying like 4 pink bags, okay? So I was actually not pumping gas. The pumping gas was already happening, but I was sitting in my car. Okay. And so he walks up to me and he's like smiling, hi, waving at me as if we're friends. And I was on the phone with Kyle. And he's like, hey, can I talk to you? And so I got out of my car to talk to him.
What were you? Oh my God. Have you learned nothing from Karen and Georgia?
I know. So I got out of my car and he tried to sell me makeup at a gas station. I even touched the makeup.
Whitney.
I know.
I've never been more disappointed in you in my life.
So I got like later after like I let him talk for like 5 minutes and then I was like, no, thank you. And then I got back in my car and I just like the whole drive home, I thought about it. And I was like, as women, we're socialized to be polite, right? Like that's a thing. If I had just been like, oh, no, or no thanks without rolling, like I would have felt like a
and you don't want to be perceived as being rude.
No, not at all.
No.
So it's like this thing. So I just wanted to speak out right now to all the women that are listening, hopefully. Learn from my mistake. We need to stay sexy and don't get murdered.
Exactly.
Thank you, Karen and Georgia, from My Favorite Murder, because I made a huge mistake that could have been really dangerous. Like I put myself in a dangerous...
You did put yourself in it. Yeah. And those are words I actually, when we read... Karen and Georgia's book over the summer, Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. I had my 14-year-old daughter read it because there's so much good advice in there. And I've really tried to drill into her head. It is much better to be perceived by someone as being rude than it is to being murdered.
Absolutely. He could have pulled me in a car. And then as I was
He could have sold you makeup that ate your flesh.
Yeah, it had fentanyl in it. Yeah. Who even knows? So then I drove away. As I was driving away, he was actually... at another woman's car talking to her, and she had a child in the back seat. And I was just like, this is a problem.
Yeah, and that's just not normal.
No. And
how long had he been doing that there?
Right.
It kind of makes me question what's going on with this gas station. You
weird.
Can't tell me somebody didn't go in there and say, hey, there's a guy out there.
Yeah, who's walking around selling makeup, telling me it was just in Cosmo magazine. I was like, this ain't Sephora, son.
No.
Get out of here. But I made a huge mistake, and I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. Like, don't worry about being perceived as rude. I should have just shut that down immediately.
Yes,
and I know there's a lot of women like me
dangerous.
that make that same choice.
You're right. Well, thank you for sharing. Maybe this will keep someone
PSA
from this happening. Because if he's been doing that, obviously that's his shtick. And he's still doing it at gas stations all over the place.
And even if he is legitimately selling legitimate makeup, maybe you don't do it to like walk up to someone's car like that. No.
Or at a gas station. That is
weird.
So random and so strange.
So okay, that's
well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'm alive, everyone. I was not murdered by the makeup man. All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, it sure was. Like us on Facebook if you haven't already. Email us if you have any cool stories that you'd like us to report on. Not quite.
Hit us up on Twitter at onhaunt podcast or just I can't say it. It's so weird.
On Haunt Podcast.
No, the.
Yes. No.
Because somebody took that.
Minus the.
Yes.
Yes. Because someone else is on the haunt, and we're like, that's rude.
And we can't do on the haunt. Why can't I say this? we can't do on the haunt podcast because Twitter and their character limitations.
Yes. If you like us on if you like the podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much to the folks who already have.
Yeah,
we have 8 reviews.
My daughter was so excited. Like, people wrote reviews on this, Mom.
I know.
And it was so cool and so fun.
Oh my gosh,
and we truly appreciate it.
We do. Thank you. We do so much. So thank you, and stay on the haunt.
Yeah.
I
later.
Don't know.